the Shannon Heritage sites. Last year in the Dáil you said Clare County Council need to get on with it, but Clare County Council are actually relying on you and the government to get on with it as the transfer sites. Is there any update, or when do you actually plan to maybe sign over the sites to Clare County Council?
So just to come back on that, look, there are discussions going underway between the County Council department, the various government departments. This tends to happen when one agency, Shannon Properties, wants to offload, or the policy position is government has approved it to offload is one phrase, but perhaps to transfer various entities to the County Council. This has happened in other areas as well, and it's gone very smoothly in some instances, and success has been made of the transfers, and they've thrived in the new surroundings under the authority, and that's what I meant by my comments.
Would you say it was a
because I saw it happening before.
It took over a year.
Yeah, but look, the point is, well, no, I'm a believer we should move and get it done. No, I accept that discussions on the way. Government can play a part in making sure that the transfer can be smooth, but also I think the County Council's worry is that, and genuine concern is that it has the capacity to make a success of this and to deal with perhaps deficits that are there. Now, there's a lot in that in terms of the various assets that the various entities have and so on like that. So those discussions are underway, and I will talk to the various ministers to get the thing resolved.
Obviously you're due to come Taoiseach again. You're seeing Sinn Féin are with Maskell ahead in the polls. One of their unique selling points obviously is that Micheál Martin become the first female Taoiseach. So would you consider maybe stepping down and allowing Heather Humphreys or Helen McEntee to be just
That's a great question. At the moment, I'm focused on the job that I have, which is as Taoiseach and Minister for Enterprise, Trade and Employment, and that's all about getting businesses open and getting people back to work and getting back to full employment and improving the terms and conditions of workers as well. So that's my focus exclusively for the next year and a bit. One thing I would say about opinion polls, and I'd say two things really. Opinion polls have yet to ever predict the outcome of the last election. Sinn Féin won more votes than any other party in the last election. That never showed up in the opinion polls until only a few weeks beforehand. So it's the people who will decide who wins the next election, not the opinion polls. And secondly, to form a government you need 50%. And even in the best polls, Sinn Féin is well short of that. The government parties combined are still in around 50%. So the next election is a long way away and is far from determined as yet.
Question, just talking about delivery of houses, we've seen 2 possible villages in Clare going to be put forward for the pilot scheme with Irish Water. That leaves about 50. That's almost 2/3 of villages and towns in Clare. So the next time coming down, is there going to be a padlock for rural Clare because they're going to be exempt from development? There'll be no expansion of their population.
I think firstly you got to look at the national situation. We've provided Irish Water with the largest capital budget they've ever had to deliver schemes, and they're making progress. In relation to the unserved villages scheme, that's a scheme that I brought forward, and we put that scheme out there. We've received applications in. From Clare that are being assessed. When I was here last year, I met with residents in Broadford with Joe and Timmy and Cahill. And I know there's a number of schemes, but I want to get this up and running whilst we're doing the bigger work. So there's no padlock on rural Ireland or rural Clare, I can assure you. If you look at what else that we've done to support people in towns and villages right across the country, no less so in Clare, bringing forward the Croí Cónaithe grant scheme that is there, up to €50,000 grants for people to do up properties that are vacant and derelict, and we have a very significant interest in County Clare in that. Speaking to the housing team in Clare this morning as well, they've been doing pretty well on the buy and renew piece and taking other derelict properties and getting them back into use for social housing. So things are moving here in Clare. It's not fixed and doesn't get fixed overnight, and I know you know that as well. And certainly in relation to villages and settlements that don't have wastewater treatment, we needed to grasp the nettle on that, and I've done that. And as I said, we've received applications in from Clare. They're being assessed right now, and I had the fortune of meeting residents and listening to them last year, and I'd like to be able to see that through.
From the Shannon Airport group side of the house, we've seen obviously a setback for Clare County Council in trying to get the funding from government for the Shannon Heritage sites. So just what position does that leave you in? Are you going to be left with the 4 sites in Clare?
Well, first and foremost, Shannon Heritage is an important business, very important for this region, and again has recovered very strongly this summer. As we see international visitors coming back into the country, particularly through Shannon, we've seen a bounce in the numbers to our key sites, and they've performed and traded really well. So that's positive, again better than we would have forecast. We continue to operate and manage the sites. and we'll continue to do that until the transfer is complete. From our perspective, we've done all the work with Clare County Council. We've partnered with them. We've done all they've completed their due diligence. So I think they're in their own discussions with the department. I can't comment on the status of those, but we're ready to complete the transfer as soon as they've completed their own discussions. So obviously from a staff perspective, they would like certainty, and we'd be all keen to complete the transfer as soon as possible.
And the comment was made when it was put forward that this Transport Committee meeting was to be held in Shannon Airport, that Clare TT Michael McNamara said it would be more beneficial to nearly bring Duffy's circus. So would you say, on light of the meeting, was it better than having the circus in town?
Well, I mean, for us, we're visiting all the airports. We visited Dublin Airport. We're now visiting Shannon Airport as a committee collective. We'll be going to Cork shortly. And what we want to do really is, there's no substitute for actually seeing on the ground what's there. So we've seen what's in Dublin. We know exactly what the position is. We now see it in Shannon. We'll shortly see it in Cork. And it's something that we as a committee take very seriously. And we want to ensure that when the review of national policy takes place, that the measures that are put in place ensure that we get a balanced policy on aviation where all airports are able to operate to their optimum.
Mr. Ryan before discussed the possibility of the reintroduction of wolves to Ireland and stuff. Just looking at your colleagues in government, would you be worried when it comes to election day that they are going to throw you to the wolves?
I think we're working well across government. I think in terms of how we responded to the COVID crisis, in terms of, when you see how the public health outcomes, but also the economic outcomes that our country has had compared to other European countries, I think it's a government that has delivered so far. I believe our party are delivering in government, both on our core green agenda, but also on issues in my own department like supporting childcare. So look, I think the voters will recognise that come the next general election, and recognise the work that myself and fantastic colleagues like Senator Garvey have been doing.
Scenarios based positive that maybe fresh eyes or something are being poured over it, but do you think, are you more hopeful now than at any stage over the past 38 years that you'll get answers, or that, as you say, Martin, Pets might be able to rest in peace?
Well, sure, Paddy, it'd be nice to bring it to a conclusion.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Sometimes we think there might be a conclusion. I think with this case, I think there could be.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a team there. I think a fresh team, and they might look at it a bit different.